Tariro Mutongwizo. I currently live in Brisbane, but I'll be moving to Armidale soon. I work at the University of New England in Armidale. I'm a researcher for just over 12 years on a full-time basis, but while I was studying, I was involved in some research projects. I think my governance background has just helped me to be part of lots of projects. I'm a policing scholar by training, but then I've been involved in lots of projects. One was on the governance of water and coal seam gas in New South Wales and in Texas. And another one is on policing marginalized communities, particularly those who are migrants. And currently, I'm involved in all sorts of policing projects, obviously looking at migrants and also looking at the policing of water crime. That's something I'm very passionate about at the moment. And I'm still involved in a lot of environmental governance projects. I'm watching a lot, I binge on a lot, but currently I've just watched a documentary called Seaspiracy, which was very eye-opening for me because I wasn't aware of a lot of the life underwater, what goes on there, and all the crimes that are going on in that space. So that's something that was eye-opening for me. But then just to relax, I enjoy reruns of Breaking Bad. That's my ultimate favorite. And I also reread books. So I've read The Alchemist, I think, for the 6th time now, and each time is more magical. So that's definitely my favorite book. What interests me most is definitely the intersection between the contests of different parties. And when we look at rural areas, we see that agricultural activity, as well as mining activity, have great impacts on the environment. And these are things that also are important for our economies. So I'm very interested in just looking at the contests between different parties, looking at what landowners, their rights, and what they're interested in, as well as looking at the actual economic activity and the impacts that it has, both for the economy as well as on the environment. So just thinking about that from a governance perspective, as well as from a policing perspective, I guess the whole compliance and enforcement issues are what interest me the most. We've got a PhD student who's working on policing of water crime. So just looking at the compliance and enforcement of that. So that's something that we're very interested in. We're trying to work with our student to publish a lot on that. So currently that's what we're working on. That's where I'm putting a lot of my energy, just looking at the different aspects of that, not just our students project, but also the other issues around that, especially looking at different jurisdictions and the different laws and governance that's out there depending on the location. We are working on a special issue with policing and society. So we're going to look at policing in the Anthropocene, that we're hoping to get some papers in just for that special issue, just looking at what policing the Anthropocene has looked like. And we're looking at global perspectives. We're hoping that we get a lot of interest, especially from the global south, just to see where we are in terms of that and what we can learn from each other around the world. So that should be out, as the call for papers is still on. We're hoping that something will be out by the end of 2022. I'm very interested in the governance of water. So especially looking at my background and where I'm from, where water is a very scarce commodity that's got a lot of issues surrounding it for people's day-to-day livelihoods, not just for economic activity. So just looking at the compliance and enforcement of water crime in Australia, that's something that I'm currently looking at and thinking about. I think the solution that I would propose is, obviously people are going to break laws. That's something that's going to happen forever. But then I think it's important for us to have better compliance and enforcement regimes. So I would definitely be interested in a project that would work towards improving that, just so when people do break rules, if they're not aware of the rules, then there's something to educate them about the rules. But when they do it deliberately, that there are some sanctions for that. So that is something that I would like to see done better globally, as that would definitely improve how we use and value our water resources. It would definitely be about educating people more, because for some it's just an issue of just educating them on how it's a finite resource and how we just need to use it more cautiously. But at the same time, it's not just about that. It's actually about access for some who do not have access to that. And that may be limited by those who may be illegally accessing water. So I guess if I could rule the world, it would definitely be about more enforcement on that. I think we're putting a lot of policing on things that don't necessarily need policing, but when it comes to governing water, I think we definitely need more education and more compliance and enforcement.